Hello and welcome to Tuesday's programme.
Coming up in the next half an hour.
Police say this was the reason they had to go into the climate camp.
We believe that there's a very small, hardcore number of protesters who will use any and all means at their disposal, including criminal actions.
But Green campaigners say police are making up the claims to justify tactics like this.
It's horrible, the smear campaign that's been mounted against us to try and discredit what we're trying to do here.
Good evening. Kent police have tonight defended raiding an environmental protest camp in riot gear after seizing a cache of weapons. Eco-activists have set up the camp near the Kingsnorth plant in protest at a new coal-fired power station.
Some MPs are so angry at the heavy-handed tactics used by officers, they've written to Kent's Chief Constable condemning yesterday's policing. The climate camp to the west of Hoos and Werburg is more than a mile from the power station at Kingsnorth. 13 arrests have been made there so far and 9 people charged with a variety of offences.
Well, all day police have continued to mass near the camp. Our reporter Ian McLaren has spent the day there as well. Ian, what's happening tonight? Describe the scene for us.
Well, Ian, there are now up to 1,000 people on this campsite behind us at the moment. They've been arriving steadily all day after passing through very rigorous security checks. It's been described locally here as Checkpoint Charlie. At the same time, there's been an extraordinary build-up of police activity around the camp. We've been told that there are up to 1,400 officers likely to patrol this area. And throughout the afternoon, we've seen convoys of police vans from as far away as Wales, and we've seen mounted police arriving from the City of London. And the reason for this, Kent police say, is partly because of the discovery of weapons they say were found on the perimeter of this camp. On display, a stash of knives and makeshift weapons Kent police say they discovered hidden close to the climate camp near Kingsnorth Power Station. They say items such as a replica throwing star could be used to injure officers, horses or dogs patrolling protests.
There is a hardcore, small minority of people on that site who are committed to violent means and criminal activity to get over their aims.
But on the climate camp, there was an angry response to the police claims.
It's horrible, the smear campaign that's been mounted against us to try and discredit what we're trying to do here. Yesterday we were baffled at the police tactics. Today we're outraged that they can tell such lies to try and discredit what we're trying to do here.
But the police maintain what they found tells its own story. If there is to be an attack on Kingsnorth Power Station, then the police say some of these items could be used. There's a knife here which was discovered in a tree, and down below we see grappling irons that of course could be used to scale any building, and these are white suits that some of the protesters might wear, they say. Also we see bolt croppers. They could be used to try to take down any fences. And over here we see wetsuits. Now the protesters have said they'll try to reach Kingsnorth by any means, by air, by land and by sea. Today the security cordon tightened around the camp. There are now 3 police checkpoints and there's a holding pen where visitors heading for the camp are stopped and searched. And about a mile from the climate camp there's been a steady build-up of police vehicles from 26 forces arriving at a massive police compound. Climate camp residents say they fear a repeat of the raids we saw by riot police yesterday, but Kent police deny that their actions were heavy-handed.
We believe what we did was appropriate. No confrontation was provoked by the police.
Kent police say they're determined to stop any attempt to close down Kingsnorth, which the protesters have vowed to do on Saturday. Well, as far as those scenes of the riot, I spoke to the local MP here, that's Bob Marshall Andrews, who came back from holiday in Wales, presumably along with the convoy of police vehicles, to make his point of view. And this is what he told me just a few minutes ago.
This is not a place for riot police. I mean, these people, the nature of the people in there, they do not need control of that kind. And I thought that the scenes with riot police going in spoke for themselves. And I suspect an awful lot of people will feel that.
So will you be following this up? What will you be doing?
Well, I'm going now to see the liaison officer in Medway Police Station, and I hope the Gold Commander who is in charge, and I want very forcibly to get across my image and my feeling about what this camp is at the moment. Now, of course, I'm talking about the camp. I'm not talking about future protests or anything else. I'm talking about this organisation here, and this organisation here, I would have thought sending in riot police is going to make enemies of precisely the people who the police need as their friends.
Bob Marshall-Andrews talking to me just a short time ago. Now with me live is the chair of the Green Party in Kent, that's Hazel Daw. Now you were making the point, you were at the climate camp last year at Heathrow. Compare and contrast the two.
Well, security at the climate camp at Heathrow was nowhere near as stringent as it is here. To get up here to talk to you, I have stood in a queue for 25 minutes waiting to be frisked at what is being called Checkpoint Charlie. Increase man-made climate change.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed, Hazel Daw, for joining us. I can say that we're expecting some more activity here tomorrow, particularly because of the build-up on both sides. And there are people on the camp saying they have a bit of a foreboding about tomorrow because of this intensification of the police activity around the camp.
Ian McLaren will be back with you a little bit later in the programme. For now, thank you. Now, more of the day's news.
And the main story here in the southeast tonight. Police have been displaying weapons and tools that they've seized from climate camp protesters in Kent.
Let's go live back to the scene at Kingsnorth and our reporter Ian McLaren. Ian, what's the latest there?
Well, after they were criticised for heavy-handed behaviour when they sent in the riot police yesterday, Kent police produced this cache of weapons, knives and other makeshift weapons they said could be used to harm the police or indeed police dogs or horses, which are now here. The Camp Climate people say that's merely a smear campaign. They deny that it's anything to do with them. At the same time, there's been a steady build-up of police. We're told the cost of this operation by Kent's police admission is over £1 million. Another figure we heard tonight is that it could cost as much as £7.5 million.
Ian, thank you.